Welcome back to the On the Pegs podcast. I'm Abigail Bazzelli, and today we've got a really special conversation for you. My guest today is Maddie Hoover. Maddie is a 9-time U.S. women's trials national champion and one of the most successful women in the history of American trials. She's also spent the last decade competing in the Women's TrialGP World Championship, representing the United States at the world stage. Last September, Maddie announced her retirement from the World Championship Series, and in this episode, we sit down and talk about that decision, her 10 years journey competing internationally, and what it was like chasing sections around the world. It's a really thoughtful conversation and a great chance to hear Maddie reflect on her career and what comes next. Let's get into it. We're here with Maddie Hoover, who's going to be talking a little bit about her race career.
Where to start? So I did my first world championship in 2014. I was 15 years old. I had to ride a 125 because I was used to the 250, and I remember them saying, hey, you can go to TDN, but you'll have to ride the 125 in Europe. And I was like, okay, sure, yeah, of course I want to go. And my parents were like, there's a world championship the weekend before, maybe you want to try and do that. And I was like, okay, that sounds fun, I guess. And that summer, right before leading up, because it would be in September that summer, my parents left me at Trials Training Center for 2.5, maybe 3 weeks alone. Oh, not alone, but with just like riding. We had like all those riding camps back then. And I was 15, and they left me, and I thought they were leaving me with the 250, and all they left was that 125, so I had to go out there and figure it out, and I just remember that being like a big learning experience for me. Like, I was really growing as a rider. Definitely had to learn how to twist the throttle, and it came in handy because I did get to really open up the gas at my first World Championship. Those were the biggest rocks I'd ever seen, and that was back when there was only 3 rounds for the girls, so I really rode a whole third of the season, which was cool, and then got to do the TDN, and that was such an eye-opening experience, and I've never been to Europe before, so I was like, Europe's so cool. I want to come back to Europe. And so then the next year, my dad was like, well, if you want to ride all the World Championships, there's only 3 weekends, and I was still in school, and anyways, it kind of grew from there. I mean, now we have 6 weekends or more. Like, we've doubled in size. So the championship's definitely grown a lot. And this was also, there was only one class. It was all the girls grouped in. I want to say I think there were 27 girls my first round. So it was a big, big class. So, I mean, top 20 was good, you know, and that was my goal. And then, as it progressed, I started, meeting more girls my age or friends, and I really started to not feel so, like, on the outside. I know that was hard, being the only one from America. It was kind of hard because the Europeans, they know each other. They grew up together. They're riding together all the time, and so at first that was really hard, and then I started to make a lot of girlfriends that were my age, and really, really kind women and families that were inviting me to stay with them or go training with them in between rounds, or, keeping up on social media together. And I felt this like sense of, okay, I think maybe I belong here. And as we continued through the career, it was really cool. I got to go to so many countries so young with my parents, which my dad had never traveled to Europe before either. So that was exciting. And my mom loved traveling. So it was just really a good family experience. Dad is minder, and the sport's changed so much since then. I mean, we've gone from stop trials to nonstop, back to stop. We've gone to time limits, and we've changed. There's now 2 classes. We have enough women to have 2 classes, and it's just been really cool because there's been a lot of growing throughout these past 10 years. I did 10 full seasons. I don't ever count the first year. I mean, that was just me kind of seeing if I liked it. And then I did 10 full seasons of GP and got to go to 40 plus countries. We've gone to Asia. We've done all this stuff. And I get to go with the coolest people on this planet. A lot of the girls and the guys that I've met throughout the years in trials have become family, best friends. I've lived with them. We've trained together. We've shared cars and trips and just really great memories. And it's all because of, trials being such a small sport, we kind of had to stick together and kind of lean on each other for the support and help, because it's a small sport and there's not a lot of, I guess money in it. But at the end, you need somebody that's like, hey, yeah, you want to rent a car together to save money or do something. Anyways, it was kind of that environment. And unfortunately, I grew up, so I'm a little bit older and my parents don't go to as many anymore. But it doesn't really matter because I was able to have such like a community over here and so much support. I mean, between the Gas Factory has always just gone a little above and beyond for me, which has been great, just trying to like help and support. And Jeff Aaron was big on getting me kind of my foot in the door over there, and I'm really thankful for him to just kind of like push and be like, hey, can we help Matt? And I ended up making great friends with Albert Capistani, and he's taken care of me the past couple years, which has just been really great. With just helping with logistics and bikes and stuff is just hard over here. Hipple Racing has always taken me under their wing anytime I'm kind of homeless or, like I need a pit for the weekend or whatever. George and Hipple Racing and the Haga family and my family have just become one. They've just been so just great, helping me adjust to living in Europe, which was a big deal. Little girl from North Carolina didn't really know what to do when she got to Europe. But no, and over the years, I've taken it really seriously and done a lot of put a lot of stress on myself, or wanted to do better than I never did as well as I wanted to do. But I think looking back, if I would just relax a little bit, I could have done a lot better. Like this past World Championship in England, my last round, I was very relaxed. I wanted to enjoy every moment of it, and I rode the best I have in years. And I think, some people perform under pressure. I don't know if I did that, but it was still a great experience. It's hard to let it go because it's been my life for so long, and I don't want to, be finished with the sport, because the sport, of course, is the only reason that I feel like I am a very independent, confident person just in daily life now. The sport has given me so much confidence. So I'm not going to give it up completely. I'm, of course, going to ride U.S. Championship and maybe a world round here and there if they are... if it makes sense, and maybe another TDN. But I definitely want to help with the sport in some way and see where I want to come back and give back a little bit to a sport that's given me so much and so many people that have supported me. But, the World Championship was hard to adjust to, with the rules being like so different than America. And I was always trying to explain this to them. They were like, well, how does this compare? And I was like, the style of section doesn't compare. It's just different. Like we're doing it's a different kind of event. So I've always said that. And now we've had more and more people see World Championships or go or be on the TDN team or whatever. And now we know, it's a very different style of section. So it's been hard to train for that being in America. So anyways, it was a big learning curve. I don't know. I learned how to stand up for myself, because pushing in line, of course, doesn't happen at the nationals. I learned that I always second guess myself, but there was no time at the World Championship to second guess myself. So I've been a lot better at making decisions. Even, this transfers into other things too, but I would stare at a rock for days if you'd let me, but I don't know. I just it's been really good for me, not just on the bike, but in real life. And it's been really good for my family. And I don't know.
So you touched on this a little bit, but what's next for you? How many U.S. championships do you have now? What are you shooting for in U.S. trials? I know you said you still wanted to be involved. You're not just going to ghost us. And then also, how has it been over the years that, until Ryan more recently, you've been kind of the only American coming over and getting it done consistently, like just representing or trying to be involved on a world level. How does that feel? How has that changed?
So what's next for me? I definitely want to do as many nationals as I can because I would like to get my 10th Women's Pro Championship consecutive. So I definitely will strive to do that next year because that's really important to me. I think like 9, we got to round it off with 10, and I still love the sport, and that would be great. So that would be for trials career-wise. That'll be what's next. I mean, I definitely won't have as much time to practice now with having a real career and not real, like having a different 9-to-5 style career. But I'm really looking forward to being at home, being around my family more. I really wasn't seeing my parents much the past couple years, and that's, for me, I don't want to give up that time. So I'm really, really excited to just be down the road from them now and just start setting up a little bit more of a stable life. And then as far as being the only American, yeah, at first, really, really intimidating. I was the only American, but the Australians were so welcoming, and the Brits, because we all spoke English, obviously. So it was, as long as I just kind of said, hi, how are you? I could always feel like I had a conversation or a friend. And then eventually, I mean, if you stick around long enough, people are finally going to be like, okay, fine, she's not going anywhere. So no, but the other countries opened up really fast. And I think the sport has changed, though, with more women and younger riders being a part of it versus just like the older crowd. The mentality's changed. Everybody's a little bit more friendly, and the training and want to be together. Like, we realize we rely on each other with such a small sport. Every country relies on, you know, we have maybe 2 riders from Poland, 1 from America. We have 1 from Czech. Or they feel alone as well too. So, you know, you find a lot of community in the fact that who else are you going to talk to? So Ryan coming over has just been incredible to have another American. I've never been, well, that's not true. I saw him when he was riding a little electric bike when he was a kid, and we went, we gotta get that kid, we gotta get him doing things. And then I remember him being like 12, and we were like, we gotta get him to Europe. And his family just did a great job of setting up those connections, and I'm just really glad that they took the initiative and sent him over, because Ryan's just been great for American trials, and you know, I'm hoping we'll have a couple more coming up, and I mean, it would be great if we could get a girl, or what? I mean, that's what I'm interested in. No, but I think the boys, you know, saw the example. So,
no, I think just because you've been the first person to consistently come over and stay over, you've been a role model for both boys and girls who are coming up in the sport. For any families who have kids who want to get them over, or for even adult riders who are interested in becoming more involved, what advice do you have?
My advice would be yes. As a whole, the whole idea of going to Europe, the championship, the bike, everything seems very intimidating. But if you break it down, and we just like my family had to, let's start with the plane ticket, and then we can work on the bike. And there's so many connections and friends and people in trials that are willing to help. Even if they can't help you, they know someone who can. That's something about a small sport. You're going to have people who are willing to go a little bit above and beyond just because they love the sport. And I would just say, like, we don't have to do 5 trips to Europe and do the whole series. Maybe we just 1, or we're having world championships in America now, and it'd be great to bring the kids out so they can see what the next level would be, you know, versus the nationals. I think that's always been really inspirational for me. I got to watch 2 world championships before I had even gone, 1 in Tennessee and 1 in Rhode Island. And I think more when I was younger, but the 2 I remember, and I was like, that's really cool. There were no girls there, but I was like, oh, the girls do this too when it's in Europe. And so I was like, well, that's really cool, and these people are my age, so sure. Like, I think it's just getting the exposure, and, you know, internet, YouTube's really cool. I think YouTube they do a great job, FIM does a great job at kind of displaying a good broad view of what we're doing. And another thing to remember is, yes, it's a competition, but it is fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. The environment's very fun. They do a great job at just trying to support everyone at every level. And I think that the FIM and TrialGP have just done a great job with the sport. And I'm just really proud to have been a part of it.
Anything else?
I'd just like to thank everyone that, we're not going to do the list, but God, everybody knows like what they've done to help me live out my dream. And I just want to really thank my dad for pushing me, being hard on me, keeping me accountable, because without it, I would never have had half the success or experience. And I want to thank my mom for just always being supportive, no matter my choices. So, yeah.
This interview sponsored by Sir Walter Coffee.
Yeah, Sir Walter Coffee. Yeah.